everybody. This is Jimmy Fallon, back when I was cool on The Late Show. You know, because I was on that show, and now I'm on The Tonight Show, and everybody knows who I am, but I'm Jimmy Fallon. Hey, did you know that the Mike Silly podcast is completely independent and created and produced and stuff, and it's great. It's wonderful. It's all right. Did you know just about every podcast you listen to is part of a huge network or corporation or just lifted off a radio station? That's nuts. That's why would anybody do that? That's so awful and terrible. Did you know big-name podcast players like iTunes and Stitcher show only podcasts that pay for advertising or have big names like me on them? Or like they're from movies or whatever? I love movies. Most of my guests on my show are from movies. And I was in a movie or two, and they all bombed. Please do what you can to support independent podcasters. Now it's Mike Matthews. He's pretty cool.
This show is clean, pretty much.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 816. Hello, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from the last place on earth, located somewhere in Podcaster Valley, California. Today, the finale of my Into an interview with the Seattle band LOWLANDS. Plus, we hear from Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, the Brewmaster, and Xiaomi is coming to America. But America can't pronounce it. We'll find out more on today's show. Mike's Daily Podcast. I figured out how to pronounce it, but I had to look it up on the internet. I guess that's what it's good for. Mike's Daily Podcast. And I should tell you that women and girls rule my world. Prince said that, and then he said diamond and pearls, and I walked my boxer for my health, or is it for his? Of course. Why else? And it helps me. I'm kind of an explorer. I explore the world with my dog. Mike's Daily Podcast. And then I explore how my dog, it turns around and squats and leaves something pretty disgusting. Mike's and I don't like discovering Daily that. I like to walk away from that. Podcast. But I don't. I have to pull out one of my bags. Yeah! I carry so many baggies. And that's what you got to do as a dog owner, carry baggies. It's what we got to do, because the dogs don't have how to pick up with the baggies. That would be an interesting trick to teach them how to do that. But look who just walked in. Hi, Mike. It's Benita, the rodeo queen. How y'all doing?
And the Disgruntled Fiddle Player tell you what.
What?
Podcastro Valley is looking for a rodeo queen for the big rodeo that comes up later on this year.
Yeah. That's where I've actually met a rodeo queen twice, going to our Podcaster Valley parade, rodeo parade, and she's usually walking around, looks all done up, and cowgirl was awesome. Mike, I remember those days. Those were my glory days, and I hark back to them often. Look who else just walked in.
Hello there, Mike. I make the root beer. I'm the Brewmaster. Oh, boy.
Brewmaster, what kind of root beer did you make today?
Mike, I made a delicious time travel root beer.
Oh no, we're going back in time. Do you recognize this time, Benita? Oh my gosh, this is back when I was young, and I was a cowgirl, and I was a rodeo queen.
Benita, I don't remember these days. Wow. How much makeup y'all got on?
Well, my mom worked for the people. You mean the Mary Kay Cosmetics? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, y'all, this was a big time in my life. Look, there I am, riding a horse, and I'm carrying the American flag. I was a rodeo queen. That's beautiful. Let's get out of here. I don't want to run into my old boyfriend. I don't want to run into him.
I want to run into him so I can punch his lights out.
Okay, there he is.
Ah, sir. Okay, let's go.
Oh my gosh, we hit and run. We literally hit someone and ran. Wow.
Mike, I guess now we have a time machine with my time machine root beer. Oh, boy.
Yeah, well, you know, because the John Deere, the engineer guy, he said that we don't have a time travel device anymore here at the last place on Earth, which saddened many of us, because we like traveling forwards and backwards in time and such. But John Deere just didn't like it anymore. Oh, wait, John Deere just walked in.
Hello, everybody. Mike, it's not that I don't like time travel. I just disagree with the ramifications.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Hey, John Deere, what's up? Not much. I told y'all you gotta come over to the house sometime for beer and tater chips. All right, I'll be over this weekend. Excellent. Benita, we gotta clean the place up.
Okay, we gotta go. Bye, bye. I'm still beautiful. Yes, you are, Benita, and you are still a rodeo queen. At least that's what you tell us every single episode. And I went to Point Isabel, I was telling you about yesterday. And one thing I didn't mention on the show was that I went to the Costco that's right there. That's one of the added benefits of having Point Isabel. I mean, it's right on the bay. It's right next to Costco. Let's hear it for the mocha freeze at Costco. Although I saw a lot of people walking away with the ice cream swirly thing. But one thing I did not see a lot of people doing actually was walking away because the line took forever. Oh, and it's time for the segment.
Why the hell did I yelp that?
Yeah, I'm not going to yelp about it because why should I when I can tell you about it right here on the podcast and thus not give Yelp any extra content and add to the money that they use to keep going and keep businesses that don't pay money to Yelp, keep them down. They discriminate against businesses. When you look up businesses on Yelp and you look up, a place to eat or whatever, it leaves out a lot of restaurants because if those restaurants don't pay for advertising, it's similar to the podcast world. If you don't pay for advertising, you don't get seen. And even these websites that are supposed to tell you about podcasts and restaurants and everything else, they end up not telling anyone about it. As Jimmy Fallon richly explained at the beginning of the show. But yeah, so yelping about this particular Costco and their snack bar, very slow. It was almost as if the lady was trying to make the long line that was getting longer and longer, trying to make the people even more irate and impatient. She was really nice to kids, though. She would say hi to them, how was your day to the kids? And then move really slow over to get the hot dog or the ice cream swirl or whatever it was. I was just about to go and place my order with her, and all of a sudden there appeared a second person helping other people that appeared and then helped me. It was just out of the blue right when I was there. Wow, it was so glorious. So all told, half an hour just to get a mocha freeze at that Costco there next to Point Isabel in Richmond. Yelping about that, but not really yelping about that because I hate Yelp. So this is interesting. This other company that is coming into the United States with their smartphones and technology, they're called Xiaomi. Actually, that's what the BBC says they should be pronounced, but it is spelled Xiaomi. Some people say Xiaomi, some people say Xiaomi, some people say Xiaomi, but we'll say Xiaomi because that apparently is how the BBC is saying it. And they are China's largest smartphone company. They will begin selling headphones, smart wristbands, and other accessories online in the U.S. in the next coming months, taking its first tentative step into Apple Inc.'s home turf without its signature Mi mobile device. The company also said it's close to securing a manufacturing partner in Brazil, which will help it skirt punishing tariffs on imported electronics when it begins sales in Latin America's largest economy in the first half of this year. Xiaomi, a 5-year-old upstart whose name means little rice, which is what you're supposed to put when you drop a smartphone into the water. You're supposed to put it in with a bunch of rice. And it's supposed to help it dry out so you can use it again. Odd. Came out of nowhere to become China's fastest selling mobile brand. It has been rapidly expanding its global footprint through direct online sales. The company was valued at $45 billion in December, and that drew investors ranging from Singapore's sovereign wealth fund, as well as the co-founder of Alibaba, Jack Ma. Its Mi device, which scored with Chinese users because of the low cost and the company's heavy reliance on user interaction and feedback, it's now sold online across Asia, including most recently in India. Brazil marks the company's first foray with smartphones outside of its home continent. Xiaomi's main intention now is to try and engage American consumers and build a community here the same way that it has in China and India through fan events, interaction with users on social media, and gradually coming to know both local preferences and building its brand. That's Xiaomi. What do you think of Xiaomi? Email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. What do you think of slow Costco snack bar places? I'm just trying to get one of those fattening calzone pack thingies. Oh, some of them actually serve gelato now. Exciting. And what do you think about Prince lyrics? And walking your dog for health and picking up their leavings with bags. Have you trained your dog how to pick up its own leavings? Email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. We read your comments on the section emails from email. Also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you'd like to sponsor the show, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. And you can listen to the show in iTunes. There's a link to where to do that. And also you can comment on the show and rate the show there. That helps more people find out about us in the highly impacted Yelp-like world that is podcasting. There is also links to where to find us on YouTube. You can listen to the show there as well as on SoundCloud. We're on the TuneIn app for your smartphone. We're on Stitcher, Podomatic, Mixcloud, and Spreaker. And you can also tell your friends about the show by using Facebook. Like the Facebook page, and when I post a new show, share it with your friends and more people find out about us. We're also on Yelp. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. And you can find all those links at mikesdailypodcast.com. Next time you buy anything on Amazon, there is a link there at mikesdailypodcast.com. Buy whatever it is you're going to buy. Go through mikesdailypodcast.com first and enter the Amazon link. And that helps us out just by doing that one quick little super swift move. And we haven't ever won an award by maybe reasons that you can plainly see. But Mike's Daily Podcast can possibly win the podcast awards if you vote for it at podcastawards.com. There's a link to where to do that to vote for us. We think we might win in the best produced category because we have crazy sound effects. Look, I'm punching Benita's boyfriend from the past, for example. So go to podcastawards.com and you can still vote for us there. The deadline is coming up soon. There is also the blog, the Daily Podcast Picture, and all my past interviews there at mikesdailypodcast.com. And speaking of interviews,
Into an interview.
I'm speaking with Tom Roram of the band Lowlands. He's in Seattle. You're in Seattle, right?
Yeah,
At this very moment.
I am. Right at this very moment, I am in Seattle.
I don't see any of Seattle through the Skype. I just see a big microwave behind you.
Yeah, that's our microwave. It's a good one.
It's a good microwave.
Yeah, it's sharp carousel, in case you're interested.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to like the microwaves that didn't have carousels in them because the carousels sometimes derail or, they get disgusting and I don't want to clean because I'm lazy and that. Mm-hmm. But I guess it does cook the food more thoroughly, Tom.
Yeah.
That's what
It came in our apartment before, it was here before we got here.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah.
Added bonus.
Definitely added bonus. It was great.
The artwork for your album, The Whale, is very cool. It's got like a butterfly and a whale. Who did that?
Yeah, I was super proud of it. It is a friend of mine from college. She was an art major. Her name is Elizabeth Allum. And you can actually find her artwork on the web if you look up her name, Elizabeth Allum, and it's AHLEM. And she's great. She does pen and ink and watercolor is kind of her main forte. So I knew her style because I went to school with her. I was good friends with her, and so I contacted her and I was like, hey, would you be interested in doing our album artwork? And she said, that's awesome. And so I actually sent the lyrics to our record, to all the songs on the record, and said, here's the lyrics. We want to call it The Whale. We knew that we wanted that was the title of the record. And So it's like, if you could have an image of the whale, maybe do your thing, and but total freedom. And so a few weeks later, she came back and was like, here it is. And I was just blown away. So all the images in the whale, because it's made up of different images, are images from the songs. And so I think the detail and the attention to that, I think it makes you, like, the more you stare at the artwork, the more you discover about it, which I think is very cool.
That's exactly what I loved about it. Mm-hmm. It just kept revealing more and more things as I looked at it. Mm-hmm. Well, they can see that artwork and purchase the whole album at lowlands.bandcamp.com, and check out the website wearelowlands.com. And Tom, I'm going to play the captain, or just captain. Mm-hmm. And I love the story behind this. And it's, I also feel, has a Crowded House-esque feel to it. What was the inspiration for this one?
So the musical inspiration actually came from a band here in Seattle called Campfire OK, and they have now changed their name to The Weather. But they had a song called Primp and Prune that had kind of that same, like, kind of driving staccato feel to it. So that always, like, stuck with me. So I had this riff, this chord progression as I was working on it. And it was a song that it took me like 2 years to write. But I love the idea of having this story of, like, a pilot of a plane that is about to crash that starts, like, pontificating about life and saying, like, we're going to die, but let's think about some of the things and what does that mean? What are the ramifications of this? And like, really start to philosophize about past choices that you've made and regrets. And so I kind of drudged my way through writing the lyrics of it, and finally kind of landed on something that I was pretty happy about, and it stuck. And so that's the way it's been. And then it's a unique song because there's no real chorus at all, and then it ends with this kind of long jam, but it kind of leaves this ambiguous note, so you don't really know if the plane actually crashed or if it didn't crash, or who knows. So
brilliant. See, songs like this make me just love music even more.
Yeah,
it's like if I had been married for 300 years and then my wife walked in with a particularly nice bit of negligee, and I'm like, I will love you for another 300 years. Thank you for reinforcing my love affair with music, Tom.
Good. I'm glad. Thank you. That's very kind.
When is your next gig, by the way?
The next gig is going to be our Seattle release. So it's going to be here in Seattle at the Sunset Tavern, as I said, or as I mentioned before, on the February 28th.
February 28th. Okay. So if you are not in the Seattle area, get a ticket, fly to Seattle, Washington, and go to the Sunset Tavern on February 28th.
Yeah, and we're going to try and start doing some dates outside of Seattle, and hopefully in the summertime we're going to make a little tour down the coast. That's our plan, tentative plan right now.
Maybe you'll get to California.
Yeah, definitely. That's the goal. We would love to make it down to the Bay Area. So.
All right. Well, I'll definitely meet up with you in person when you do that. All right. Well, this is the song that took him 2 years to write, and it definitely shows there is so many neat little nuances in this. This is called Captain. It's Lowlands. Tom Roram on Mike's Daily Podcast. That is Captain Tom Roram and Lowlands from their album The Whale, as we go outside of the last place on earth where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California.
And here's today's podcast picture.
The picture is Lake DeValley in Livermore. I had never been there before. It's this neat lake over there kind of to the south of Livermore, and it's kind of not too easy to get to. You gotta drive over a little bit of road. And if you have a dog, there's really no place to walk your dog there. They had a dog walking area, but I guess it's closed. So before you get to Lake Del Valle, you go pull off to the right-hand side of the road. You'll see a bunch of people there. There's a sign for the East Bay Regional Park District, and you can go off onto some trails, and it's very nice. But we actually got down to the lake area after they were done taking people $6 at the gate. They said come back like after 3:30 and you can come in for free, which is what we did. And they've got boats and stuff, so that's kind of neat. If you're a boater, if you're a lake captain, this is the place to go. If you want to do some fishing, lake fishing, this is the place. So that's there in Livermore, and you can see that picture at mikesdailypodcast.com. Mike, that's wonderful and exciting and everything else. Thanks for punching out my boyfriend. I did, as well as your husband. Your ex-boyfriend. Right. From a long time ago. Exactly. Uh-huh. And that's been a great show today. Kind of a jimble jumble, but you know what? We learned a lot about Xiaomi phones and about Jimmy Fallon and how the first show he did, the talk show he did, was really awesome. But I guess his latest show is really cool too. And then there is this thing called Prince and Costco, particularly Costco employees that enjoy making you wait a long time.
Yeah, Mark, that was a fantastic show. And your dog, Basil, he's drooling.
Oh, yeah, he's drooling a lot. Oh, my gosh. All right, well, we got to fix that problem. That's a bit too much drool.
I suggest you get a bucket, one of those buckets that Floyd the Floorman said he's investing in.
Oh, yeah, although he didn't talk about that on the last show because he didn't have much of a script. We didn't have many lines for him to say. But Shelley Shuhart had narcolepsy because she was watching a lot of John Mayer hosting The Late Late Show, and it gave her night terrors. But this is the end of this show, and hopefully this show won't give you night terrors. But the next show is going to have a really cool segment called Matthew's News, where we'll look at some interesting recent news. And then we will also hear from Madame Rutabaga, as well as Valentino and Bison Bentley. There. Seriously, I need a mop for this, Basil.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!